Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, December 28th, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The Prosecution General responded right away to the Central Election Commission after being asked for additional information regarding the three officials who risked the removal of their mandates. Yesterday, the Central Election Commission asked the prosecution for the number and date of relevant court rulings for Kavaya's mayor, Elvis Roshi, and the two MPs, Dashamir Tahiri and Shkolchim Salami. Sources within the prosecution told an Aura News journalist that the Central Election Commission already has the documents it is asking for and that the prosecution agreed to resend the documents. Meanwhile, Aura News has officially learned that 20 out of the 570 state officials being verified by the Decriminalization Division at the Prosecution General currently occupy important positions such as MPs and mayors. The same sources within the prosecution have said that the Public Administration Department has the most officials who have filed the self-declaration forms, are being verified, and have been sent to the prosecution, since Public Administration Department has the highest number of officials to be verified within the decriminalization law. Other state officials who are being verified by the prosecution and the Central Election Commission are the President's Office, Parliament, and the Council of Ministers. It is learned that the prosecution has made a decision for 170 officials already, and others are still being verified. Sources say that the prosecution has decided on criminal proceedings for 40 cases for falsifying their forms, while 50 state officials will be stopped from exerting their public duties, leaving the remainder as not having any problems with the law. Parliamentary elections are scheduled for 6 months from now, and the electoral reform should have been concluded. Yet, the Democratic and Socialist parties have reopened the debate over the electoral reform, blaming each other for the delay. The Democratic co-chairman of the Ad Hoc Commission on Electoral Reform, Mr. Bulik Bashi, reiterated the opposition's proposal for the use of technology in upcoming parliamentary elections, saying that electronic voting and counting will end election manipulations. The electoral reform is the foundation stone for the success of any other reform. So far, the majority has only made statements. They have not discussed the reform with us or made any proposals. The success of this reform will remove criminals from Parliament. The Socialist Party has not made any effort to cooperate. The electoral process is at risk by the criminals who have an agreement with the Prime Minister. The electronic system avoids several problems such as vote buying. Electronic voting declares the results in record time, declared Bulik Bashi, adding that parties also need a correct calculation for party funding. The Democrat MP warned that if election standards are violated, the opposition will not accept the result. But the Socialist co-chairman, Mr. Bala, rejects the possibility of electronic voting and counting for the upcoming elections, saying, "We are willing to cooperate. We have the necessary votes for the reform, but we want to do it with consensus. The OSC recommendations are the basis of the electoral reform, yet Bulik Bashi did not speak about the OSCE recommendations," said Bala. Parliamentary Law Commission met today, and opposition members were not present, though the second package of the judicial reform with 40 laws was presented at the commission meeting, along with the termination of the mandate of the Ad Hoc Commission. The majority members also discussed reopening the application process for the vacancy of ombudsman. The application was reopened even though the Socialist Movement for Integration was in rejection. The Socialist MP, Mr. Manya, did not provide a legal argument for why the application was reopened when there are already 3 official candidates for the ombudsman position. He did state that the announcement made through the Parliament's official webpage was not enough, that many people could not be part of the process. The vice chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration, however, stated that reopening the application discriminates against the candidates who have already applied for the position. The application process for the Ombudsman's position will be open for 20 days. Albania's Prime Minister has responded to the invitation of the Inquiry Commission for the CEZ issue, which is being led by the opposition. The chairman of the commission sent an invitation to the Prime Minister, who responded positively to it. The positive response is in contrast with the former Prime Minister, Sali Berisha, who has reported twice at inquiry commissions headed by the majority, which were set up to investigate the agreement of the former government with the Czech company. Former Prime Minister's reporting at the Commission was made amid tense debates, and the Socialist chairman of the majority's Inquiry Commission had warned the former Prime Minister of being forcefully brought to the Commission if he did not accept the invitation. Some Aura News sources say that the meeting of the Commission will be held tomorrow at 10 o'clock and that it will be made open to the media. The Prime Minister is expected to be asked about the opposition's accusations that the government pardoned roughly €600 million to the Czech company as part of the agreement for its removal from Albania. Under the motto, "Love is needed during holidays," the Prime Minister, various other ministers, state officials, and MPs organized a festive atmosphere and distributed gifts at 28 social care institutions all around Albania today. Prime Minister Rama was at Tirana's Asylum for the Elderly, and the Vice Prime Minister distributed gifts to needy families in Pogradec. The Minister of Health visited a center for disabled children in Durrës, and the Minister of Economy was in Shkodër. The Minister of Social Welfare visited with Berat's children of police officers who have fallen on duty, to whom he gave assurance that the government will be focused on their education and on their needs. The Minister of Foreign Affairs visited with children affected by blood feuds, who are isolated as they celebrate the holidays, pledging to the children that the judicial reform will help solve the blood feuds phenomenon. Meanwhile, at a concert organized for the Zubair Halouli Orphanage in Tirana, the Ministers of Social Welfare and of Defense declared that abandoned minors are in need of support and love. The Minister of Education visited a center for disabled children in Leja, while the Minister of Culture and the Minister of Local Issues visited a home for the elderly in Gjirokastër. The Minister of Energy visited a home for the elderly in Vlora, while the Minister of Transport distributed gifts to Vlora's abandoned children. A new market has opened in the capital and has the highest hygienic standards, increasing food safety for the citizens and also solving the problem of selling food in public spaces. Tirana's mayor, Ariane Vellier, inspected the new fruit and vegetable market located in Administrative Unit Number 2, noting that 52 families will benefit thanks to the investment. According to the mayor, the traders who used to sell fruits and vegetables in the streets have the opportunity, starting today, to sell their products in a specific market. Today, we are giving 52 farmers the opportunity to allow citizens to walk freely on the sidewalk without removing the possibility for traders and farmers to do business. The city's problems cannot be solved with hysteria, but by giving people opportunities, said Vellier. He urged the citizens to consume domestic products, thus contributing to the economy and to many local families. This market and all of Tirana's markets will be open every day, including December 31st and even the 1st and 2nd of January. During this time, people want to buy many things, and the traders speculate and raise the prices. So I want to tell the people, buy local products and buy only what you need, said the mayor. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.